How's everyone doing today? Oh, oops, I'm in the wrong shot. Looks like my audio is good today, I think. Let me know. Let's see. Let's just look at the audio settings really quick. Yay, it looked like it saved it. So it looks like all my audio is good. 82 and sunny. Nice. 82 is a good temp. Excellent, Mr. Cole. Thank you very much. Yeah. Looks like everything is set up properly over there. Sweet. Gonna have a fun day. Thank you very much. Matthias, thanks for popping in. Matthias, I got your email. I will address that today. I added it to my roundtable list. Okay. Let me close a few windows here. Franco, thanks for popping in. Mr. Powers, Mr. Tim Watt, thank you for coming on. Dr. Bob, excellent. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully you guys are going to enjoy today. It'll be interesting. Obviously, it's completely unscripted. Normally, my live streams are anyway, but I do have a bunch of notes because, as you probably saw in the email, today I am going to be answering or addressing, I should say, yeah, a lot of responses I got from an email I sent out on Sunday. So if you didn't see, on Sunday I sent out an email that it was just a simple couple sentences. It was like, hey, I want to know what you're struggling for or struggling with, and let me know. Doesn't matter what it is about, right? And yeah, it was interesting. It was the most replies I've ever gotten in an email by far, by like leaps and bounds. So yeah, thank you very much for all of you that have replied. And let me just say that I do plan on replying to everybody. Okay, so while I'm going to talk in general, my notes have 0 names. So yeah, I'm probably not going to mention your name if this was your question, just because I want to keep that anonymous. Okay. There were some people that opened up quite a bit, actually, and thank you for that. I appreciate that. That's exactly what I wanted. And there were some people that were like, was this spam? Was this really you? Because I've never really done something like that. So obviously it was me. Yeah, so thank you very much for that. I lost my breakdown. 1 second. I'll give you a quick breakdown of kind of like the types of questions we got, right? Which was interesting. Where is my percentage? Oh, here it is. So the top 2, okay, which equated for about 50%. Obviously a big topic right now is, Stack 6. What are we going to do? Where are we going to migrate to, right? What's the status of everything? Some people are like, I'm just getting back in. What's going on, right? So that was about 25% of people, okay, were that, okay? So yeah, we'll address that right up front. That'll probably be the first topic we talk about today. Next up was about learning, okay? And either struggles learning or tactics to learn, either Foundation 6 or Total CMS 3. Obviously, those are the big 2 pillar products around here, right? So if you combined all of those, it was close to 30%, okay, of the emails that came back. Then we had about 10% of the people were just talking about like hosting and maintenance woes and issues that they're having and struggles they're having with hosting companies. So that was definitely part of it. And then approximately another 10% was, what's up with AI and SEO and what's the future of that? How does that apply to everything we're doing? Okay. And then lastly, it was kind of a grab bag of things. And we'll kind of do at the end just a lightning round. Some were some very good freelancer questions. Some were just some quick little questions about particular stacks and features and whatnot. So I'm going to do a lightning round at the end and just quickly answer off some of these one-off questions. Okay. So let's start off with just talking about, and I'll do some screen sharing today. But I'm not going to do any sort of like tutorials and deep dives today. I really just want to address a lot of these questions, give you guys a little bit of potentially some backstory, maybe that I haven't talked about before. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Okay. Okay. So RapidWeaver, and Stacks, obviously, you know, funny, I do have to say in 4 days, this Sunday, will mark the 16-year anniversary when I sold my very first stack. So July 27th, 2009, I sold my very first stack. And I looked it up. It was Paul McNamara. And Paul hasn't been around in the community. He hasn't purchased anything since 2018. So, but thank you, Paul, wherever you are in the world. You were customer number one. Okay. And yeah, so that was July 27th, 2009. It's been a wild 16 years, right? Pretty huge. I know many of you that are watching right now have been here for every single one of those days. So to all of you there, that were there from the beginning, awesome. Thanks for sticking around. Man, it's been an amazing journey, right? Could we ever imagine back in the day creating websites that we do now with stacks? It's just mind-blowing, right? I never imagined we'd be creating some of the sites that we're doing now, using stacks. It's pretty crazy. Okay. So yeah, and I'd say it only gets better from here. Okay. So what's happened in the ecosystem, right? What's some of the backstory? Now I'm not gonna go out and air out a bunch of dirty laundry right now. I admit there is probably some, and maybe someday I will, maybe I never will talk about some things that happened that were sad and troubling. Okay. So if you want some horrible, dirty gossip, you're not going to get that right now. Okay. But let's just have an honest look of how RapidWeaver got into the situation, our ecosystem got into the situation we are right now. Okay. So as we know, RapidWeaver, everything was going really well, like gangbusters for a long time, right? And then I think it was a huge success for RealMac. And I would say everything I'm saying here is definitely my observation and opinion on the events that transpired, okay, from my standpoint. Yeah, RapidWeaver is going gangbusters, and RealMac was growing. I wanted to be RealMac. That was like my goal. I wanted to have a development shop that had, a dozen developers working for it, right? Because at its peak, it had a bunch of developers. It had a bunch of apps. It was creating, if you remember, Little Snapper and Courier and Clear and what were some of the photo one? It's on the tip of my tongue. I don't remember what it was off the top of my head. But anyway, yeah, just some really great apps. Okay. I actually loved Courier. Actually, I loved Little Snapper too. Both those apps, when they got decommissioned, I was sad. Okay. And as we probably know, and I'll just be frank, like a lot of us, it turned into the Stacks, it turned into the Stacks ecosystem, right? I mean, the RapidWeaver community was the Stacks community. Like people ended up using RapidWeaver purely to use Stacks. Okay. And that's the God's honest truth. Okay. And so why did it get there? And I think it is because, RapidWeaver was a success, and RealMac turned its focus away from RapidWeaver for quite a long time and focused on trying to build other apps that hopefully I'm assuming they were banking that they were going to be just as big of a success as RapidWeaver was. And sadly, that didn't turn out for them. Okay. Even though I even personally, I said Little Snapper, Courier were great apps. I love both of them. Funny side note, I actually offered to purchase Courier from RealMac after they decommissioned it. But they didn't want that to happen. So I really did love Courier. I thought it was a cool little app. But anyway, So as RealMac was focusing on all these other apps, and RapidWeaver's just kind of like sat there, maybe got some a fresh coat of paint every couple years. It was maintained and stayed alive because of Stax and I don't want to pat myself on a little bit of me, right? I mean, with my live streams and my conferences, and I mean, next year, the next conference, 10 years for the Weaver Space Summit, or the Stax Summit now, I should say, Stax Summit, right? So yeah, I mean, I think the Stax ecosystem kept RapidWeaver going. And eventually, when the dust settled and RealMac had no other apps and RapidWeaver was their only game in town, yeah, I think they just they wanted to change things. They knew that people used RapidWeaver purely to use Stax, and they wanted to change that. And they did end up going down a path that I think they could have chosen a better path that was good for everybody. But they chose the path that they did, and it was unfortunate. And I skipped over a lot of story right there in that 10 seconds, and a lot of drama, and a lot of gray hairs. Man, okay, so I'm gonna talk about some videos. Side note, talk about some video. I rewatched some of my videos, my older videos from like 4 or 5 years ago, where my beard was like all bright red, right? And now, man, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a whole lot of white in this beard. And it was a lot of that was from the last 4 years for sure. But anyway, so yeah, so now we have 2 apps. Hey, RealMac has decided to release Elements. Elements is a, for all intents and purposes, a quasi copy of what Stax was. And obviously they've added some of their own features, and it's integrated with Tailwind CSS, which is a very popular framework at this point in time on the web. Okay. I personally don't like Tailwind, and had RapidWeaver gone all in on Tailwind and we were still in there, I wouldn't be happy either. I really dislike Tailwind. Okay. Maybe if we have time at the end, I've talked about it a few in the past, maybe on some past live streams. I just don't care for the code that it creates. It's just the developer in me just really despises it. So, but you can create a lot of really nice websites with it, obviously, just like you can with any other HTML or CSS website. Okay. So using Tailwind is an interesting decision. It'll be interesting to see how long Tailwind lives in the web world, and if it ever falls from its current graces in the community, how that will affect Elements and your user base, and if you decide to use Elements, how that's going to affect you. That'll be interesting to see, because the web world tends to be fickle, and frameworks come and go like nothing, right? And a framework can go from being the king to whatever is the new fresh kid on the block. Okay. And right now Tailwind is the fresh kid on the block. Well, it's not fresh. Okay. It has been around for quite a few years, but it'll be interesting. There's some new features added to CSS that I can't see how possible it is that that Tailwind is going to be able to integrate those with its current setup without making it even more complex. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see in the coming years how that comes, because CSS is becoming more and more of a programming language, actually, which is interesting. Having like if statements and some really cool stuff that I'm really excited about, actually, and excited to get into your hands once it's supported by all browsers. Okay. But anyway, so let's talk about Stax. So eventually, Isaiah finally relented, or not relented, but decided it was time to go out on our own, okay, and build Stax 6. And that was a few years ago. It's been in beta for a couple years. Obviously, there's a hiatus. If you don't know, Isaiah got in a little accident. He was kind of for like 12 months, kind of out of it, all right, which is unfortunate. But he's back into full swing, and he's releasing tons of betas, lots of updates. Chatting with him a little bit yesterday, and he's working on some a lot of crashes, crash reports, which he's excited because he never got any crash reports when Stax was a plugin. So getting all these crash reports immediately is like a kid in a candy shop for him. He's loving it because now he gets to see all those things and fix them and immediately, right? And get that next beta out. So really exciting there. Okay. And I won't be doing a full tutorial on Stax 6 today. Because well, I did one last week and it was really good. So go check that out. I know it's another hour of your time. And you can feel free to fast forward or put it at like 1.5x if you want. And but yeah, it was a really good, solid overview of the current state of Stax 6. A very honest review. I don't sell it. I just talk about things that are awesome about it and the current limitations. So check that out on that last week's live stream. Okay. Now with before we start diving into some of the actual other questions, obviously we have lost a couple big name developers, right? In this transition. And the big one being Elixir Graphics. He's been around even longer than I have. Okay. He was developing themes. My first websites were on Elixir themes. Actually, my very first one was a Jonathan Head theme, which was, Jonathan Head, his company was NimbleHost, right? NimbleHost. And my very first website was a NimbleHost theme. And it used to be joeworkman.net. We're going way back in the day. And then when I officially launched like selling of Stax, I used an Elixir theme. I can't remember what it was, but it was like this tabbed interface. If you guys remember, I customized it a little bit. But joeworkman.net in 2009 was an Elixir theme, and man, it was a great little website for back in the day. I was really happy with it. But anyway, Adam did a great job in the community for so long. Super talented designer, and obviously he had a framework called Foundry. Okay, and little tidbit of information. Fun. Okay, you want a little bit of drama? Okay, so when Foundry was in development, I was developing Font Pro. Okay, and I almost called Font Pro Foundry because Foundry is like a type Foundry, right? And before I did that, I heard through the grapevine that Adam's new framework was going to be called Foundry. And I messaged him. I'm like, hey, dude, like, I'm working on Font Pro. I was thinking of calling it Foundry. And then also like Foundry and Foundation, the names were like very kind of similar. I was like, think you could like potentially find a new name for it, because like, yeah, I think it would cause some confusion. Foundation, Foundry, and at that point, Foundation 1 was pretty popular already. Shipped Font Pro as Font Pro instead of Foundry because I didn't feel like dealing with any drama. So, but anyway, there's a little bit of drama for you guys. Okay, you got a little bit of story there. Now, obviously, Foundry is a very popular framework, and I know there's a lot of Foundry 2 and Foundry 3 users still. And I'll just let you know, I have been doing work on making sure that Foundry 3 stacks, at least Foundry 3, will work well inside Stax 6. Okay. I'm not sure how many Foundry 2 users are out there. I see every now and then people saying they're still using Foundry 2. I will be working on making sure that Foundry 3 works, at least. It's starting to get a little hot. I'm going to turn on my fan really quick. So anyway, so Foundry 3, yeah, I will be working on, a project file that you guys will be able to use that will get your Foundry 3 sites working in Stack 6. Super cool. I'm dedicated to that. Okay. However, I do recommend that you attempt to. I just realized I'm at almost a half hour, so I better speed up my talk a little bit here. Okay. I recommend that you find something to transition to, whether that's Foundation 6 or something else. You can be my guest. Obviously, I think Foundation 6 is pretty amazing, so check that out. If you're using Alloy, okay, Alloy was a blog that worked only with Foundry. I am working on, as you might be aware, I'm working on Total CMS version 3, and I will have an import feature. I just finished the Total CMS 1 import feature. So the Alloy import feature will be probably not this beta, but hopefully the next beta after that. Okay. So soon I will have an Alloy import, and that will import all of your Foundry data. Thank you to Adam. Adam, your last name just drew a blank on my name, but thank you for Adam. He was a big Foundry and Alloy user. And he supplied me with all of his Alloy data. And he was definitely a power user because he used every aspect of it. And I will make sure that all of his data is importable. So hopefully that should make pretty much everybody's data importable into Total CMS 3. So you can still blog, edit all your website content, all from Total CMS 3. Okay. Going to be pretty cool. It should be a really simple, easy process. With that said, if you wanted to transition from Foundry to Foundation, okay, Adam actually did a wonderful talk at my summit this past April. And I will be releasing his video soon to the general public so everybody can watch it, so all the current Foundry users can learn from and learn what Adam did. And how he grasped his mind from thinking in Foundry to thinking in Foundry to thinking in Foundation. Okay, so be on the lookout. I'll probably release that within the next week or so. Okay, so yeah, I'll have to upload that to YouTube. I'll send that an announcement email with everything about that, so you can go ahead and watch that talk. He did a really great job, a really great talk, and he talked about a lot of the caveats and again some of the mind shift, things that he had to do to go from Foundry to Foundation, and so hopefully you guys can get some tips and tricks from him on that. Okay. Let me see if I missed anything here. Is Stack 6 officially out now? No, it is in beta. Okay. If I said earlier, beta 48 is currently released. And as I said, I'm not going to do a full tour of that or give you information that is purely from last week's live stream. Check that out. It is in beta. There's a lot of features that are still not enabled. Partials, layouts still have some issues, site assets. Really, I think that's really the big things. Partials, layouts, they're there, but they need a little bit of work. And yeah, we're getting close. Okay. So hopefully, I'm not even going to try to give you a time frame. Okay. But we're close. I switched from Foundry to Foundation and won't go back. Oh, well, thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. Another developer, I do have to say, another big developer that released his temporary departure, okay, was Will Woodgate. If you read his announcement, he did clearly state that after Stack 6 launches and the dust settles, he'll revisit the Stacks API and re-release a lot of his stacks. I think he said he's going to take the opportunity to maybe, he has a lot of stacks, so maybe he'll, trim some of the bushes a little bit. Okay. And, but yeah, he did say that after Stack 6 is released, a lot of his stacks will most likely come back. So that's why they're still available, or they're still listed on Made for Stacks. And I know he's still doing some support for existing customers. So, yeah, while he's put pause on everything for right now, he hasn't, he did say that after Stax ships, he'll most likely be back. So there we go. He said maybe even under a new name. We'll see. Okay, but hopefully he does, because he had some good stuff. So, okay, let me go through some of these questions here. Let me check this one off. Keeping my main client site updated. Now only started serious look at what the next step will be. Okay. Yeah. Obviously I'm probably biased, right? But I think if you are going to be going in with Stack 6, I think Foundation and Total CMS 3 are going to be amazing foundations for you to build. Total CMS 3, I honestly feel is going to be one of the best CMSs on the internet right now. Okay. I think it is a really solid, great product. Okay. There are some people that, let's see, I want to return to RapidWeaver looking at, okay. So yep, I kind of give you the whole backstory already. RapidWeaver Classic versus Elements versus Foundation decision fatigue. Okay, so something to talk about I didn't say for now. Like, what do you do right now? Okay, because, yeah, Stack 6, as I said, isn't ready for prime time. You're not going to be developing or designing production websites with it yet. But luckily, the current version of RapidWeaver and the current version of the Stacks plugin still work 1,000%. Okay, and an important point is all of your stacks that you currently own will work in Stack 6. That's a really big point here. Okay. If you're going to be debating whether or not to do after RapidWeaver Classic, are you going to go to Elements? Are you going to go to Stacks? Right. A big thing is, if you go with Stacks, you don't have to repurchase anything. Okay. All of your existing stacks that you already own and everything that you've already invested in will work. Okay. And here, I will just share my screen, okay, for those that haven't seen Stacks at all, okay? Let me go ahead and open it up really quick, all right? Look, does this not look familiar? Okay, you're going to be able to get Stack 6 up and running and hit the ground running, okay? Because the interface is what you already know. You don't need to learn a new app. You don't need to learn how to do things new. You just use Stacks the way you've been using it for years. And migrating from RapidWeaver to Stack 6, copy and paste right now. Okay. There's some bugs. There's some issues with copying of images. Okay. Those will be sorted out. Eventually we might have some sort of nice project import feature, but right now, copy and paste works really well. Okay. So, copying and pasting of stacks. Yeah, you don't need to start from scratch, right? If you were to move to Elements, you're gonna have to start from scratch. You have to learn a new app. You have to learn how it functions. You have to learn and start your design over from scratch. There you go. And have less add-ons, right? There's over 700 add-ons right now for stacks. And yeah, I mean, you just have less options. Okay. All right. Thank you for some of those that are answering Total CMS questions in the chat. I need to start picking up the pace a little bit because I talked a lot about this migration already. Oh, about themes. Okay. I see this point about themes. So themes, that is the one bit that isn't going to be migrated. Okay. Stack 6 will have its own theme engine, and I will be releasing themes, and I'm sure other developers will be releasing themes as well for Stack 6. Now, something that I did is I actually purchased the entire Nick Cates back catalog. So I own, except for I think it was his last 2 releases, Aspen and I forget the other one. But I purchased all of his other themes. I'm already working on, if you remember, there's a theme called Reason. Really great theme, actually. I really like it. That'll be one of the first ones I'm migrating into Stack 6. So I will be re-releasing a lot of Nick Cates, his past themes, as Stack 6 themes in the near future. Okay. So yes, Stacks will have an entire theme engine. If you're scared of, the blank slate or the blank canvas, I should say, of Foundation or some other blank themes, then, and you want traditional themes because, hey, they're convenient, right? You can put a theme on the page, voila, you have something that looks quite decent. Now all you need to do is add content. Okay. So we are going to have that in Stack 6, but Rapid Weaver themes won't migrate. The API is completely different. Okay. But if you're using any Nick Cates themes, let me know. I know some of you already emailed me on your list, so I have a priority list of which ones I'm going to be working on. And yeah, we'll get those themes added to Stack 6 as soon as we can. Okay. Okay. Getting off the migration topic. Okay, now that I've talked about it for half the time here. Learning Foundation 6. This has been a topic for years, right? And it's something I've actually learned quite a bit about because it seems like, whenever I implement a new way of learning or a new way to learn Foundation 6, someone always has a different thing that they want, right? And they want shorter videos, They want, some people enjoy the long form videos. I have lots of long form videos, right? They want a documentation page, create some documentation page. Then they want more detailed or a reorganization of how the documentation pages are. And it's just like, there's always going to be, and I'm always improving. Okay. But, let me just talk about the current ways you can learn Foundation 6. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen now. Let's just go through that. Okay. And I think the best place to start with Foundation 6, okay, is going to be foundationstacks.com. If you go to demos and docs, this site right here is the bee's knees. This has everything that you're going to want. Okay. It's organized by the actual stack sections. So like if we go to Foundation 6, you'll see that we have layout, text content, video image, buttons, right? And those sections are all laid out here. Okay. So on this main page, on the homepage of the demo, I have a bunch of getting started videos. Okay. There are a bunch of videos. And I think part of the problem, okay, I think is that I have so many videos that it can be hard to know which ones to do. Okay. I agree with that. Okay. I think that's a fair, like, which ones do you do? Okay. I would start off with like Foundation 6 for beginners. Seems like a good name. I'd probably start there. Okay. I will give you a note that if you ever see a video that is like this sort of format where I have a title over here and then a thumbnail of this beautiful guy on the right. Okay. Those are, for all intents and purposes, going to be longer form. Most of those are going to be live streams, longer form videos. Okay. There are some really great ones in here though. I would definitely start with this Foundation 6 for beginners. Okay. Then I'd go into down here. I do a live building of foundationstacks.com. I actually show you how I built this website we're looking at right now. Okay. That was a 2-part video series. Okay. Really awesome. I even go through the entire design process, which I don't even do. I do inside Sketch. It's a pretty good video. A really popular one. So definitely it's probably a little bit next level could be, you could think of, because I do go into more advanced things. But I think it's definitely beneficial. Okay. And then a lot of these are, what happened in Foundation 6.2, what happened in Foundation 6.3, 6.6. So a lot of these are incremental little updates where I talk about specific features that happened in those particular updates. Okay. So these are going to be all kind of general videos about how to use Foundation in general. Okay. Another one is this one right here. Forget about swatches, just build your web page. I think that was a good one. Okay. I think that was a good live stream. Then if we go into each of these sections, so like here's site styles, here's gives you an overview of site styles. And at the bottom of each of these pages are videos. Okay. And if you see the videos that have the like more of like screenshots as thumbnails, those are going to be short videos, mostly around 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. Maybe some could be a little longer, but those are short targeted videos. And I tried to put those towards the top of all of these on the pages. So these are going to be how to do that particular thing, and that's it. Okay. So there's a lot of short videos here. If we go to layouts, right, we scroll down, you can also use the navigation over here. Boom. Short targeted videos, lots of them. Right. Navigation, go down to videos. Boom. Look at all the short targeted videos and how to use each of the navigation stacks. I do have some longer videos that I think are probably really great as well, but boom. Really good stuff here. Okay. So this website, it shows you the possibilities, okay, things that you can do. And it shows you how to do them down here. Okay. I know some of you are dying for written manuals. I don't know if that will ever come. I'll be honest. Okay. I don't want to say never, but yeah, written manuals, it's doing the work and then maintaining it is an insane amount of work. So showing you examples of how something is done, doing a targeted video, it's kind of my style. Okay. So there we go. That's what I recommend. And also, if you go to this free downloads, okay, this entire project file that you see of this entire website is downloadable. Okay. So if we go to free downloads, you'll see that this is the download section on Weaverspace actually. Okay. So on Weaverspace, if we go to downloads, there's a whole bunch of projects. Okay. And if a project file was done in a video, I try to link to the video as well. So like here, I did a video on fun with circles. That was actually a really good video. Here's the project file that I used in that video. So yeah, you'll notice that a lot of these are project files, and I linked to the YouTube video if that project file was featured in a video. Okay. This welcome to Foundation 6 RapidWeaver project file is actually a really good one. I watched this video this morning, and it was actually one where I was jealous of the nice, fully red beard. I deleted the project, but here's the project file right here, right? I mean, it's a really simple project file. I'll probably soon redo this exact project file in Stack 6. Okay. So there we go. Just a nice little project file, okay, of a decent web page, and all built in Foundation 6. So yeah, check out that video. Again, I think this is a really simple project file. It's a good one. And just click on that, and that'll be the video for that. I'm not even sure what's the title of it. Is that the beginning? Oh, it's Foundation 6 for RapidWeaver preview number 3. Let's build a website. Okay, so there we go. Look at that red beard. Look at that. There's no white on that chin. Jesus. Such a handsome dude. Okay. There we go. I think that is going to be the winner for learning Foundation 6. Okay. Obviously, if you have feedback or you'd like more information, let me know. There's one more thing. There is also, I know I have a ton of videos, right? And YouTube search can sometimes be not great. Okay, but you can go to my channel, and you can search just my channel. All right, so check that out. That could be a useful thing. Go ahead and search just my channel. On top of that, there's an awesome site done by a stellar person in our community, StaxGuru, Chris Powers, put together this website. And you can go ahead and search. I don't know. Let's search for Foundation menu. All right. Oh, oops. Did I type it wrong? Let's just search for menu. Oh, Chris. Oh, there it goes. Now it's thinking. All right. So here's all the videos that search for menu. So if you're searching for a key term, okay, now you have to think, the search here, it uses Total CMS search from version 1, which I'll admit, is not the most. So when I searched for foundation theme, it didn't pop up because there was no foundation theme thing, right? So keep your search terms simple, okay? Total CMS 1, its search worked, but it was a little wanting. Version 3 is much better, okay? So anyway, so there we go. You can search, and it searches every video. Chris, every time I put out a video, he adds it here, and he indexes the entire transcript from the video, which is nuts, right? So thank you very much. StaxGuru is a great place to search. I have to admit, even sometimes I go, what was that video? I can't find it on YouTube. And I go to StaxGuru to find it. Okay, so thanks, Chris, for that. Great resource, staxguru.com. Okay. All right. All right, let's see. There were a lot of specific questions on Foundation. And obviously I don't want to go into specifics today. Okay. Like, what happens if I, do this? How do I align this? How do I, so yeah, specific questions. I'll try to answer those when I reply to each of you individually. Okay. I do have to say also, I'm planning Foundation 6 next. I have to be honest, I keep flopping between calling it Foundation 6 next or Foundation 7. I don't know which one it will be, but the next big version of Foundation. Yeah, I've learned quite a bit, and Foundation 6 is already for professionals. And this next version, I kind of want to make it easier for the non-professional. Okay. So I want to take swatches and make them easier and better. Okay. Better for both novice and pro users, right? So I think we're going to do it. It'll be a lot of work, but it's going to be really awesome. Okay. Learning Total CMS 3. Okay. I did a live stream 2 weeks ago. I'm just going to refer you to that really solid video on how to get started with Total CMS 3 from day one. I have a new project file. It's developed in Stax 6. Okay. The project file itself is a tutorial. Okay. The project file is still a work in progress. It's not complete. I talk about that in that video. Check out my live stream from 2 weeks ago. It was like Total CMS 3 for beginners or titled something like that. Okay. Go on the community, go to the events tab. You'll find it super quick. Okay. So, some people are asking about, they're frustrated that Total CMS 3 beta, isn't free access for the beta. And let me just talk about a minute why I did that. So Total CMS 3 is it's a very big product. And especially early on, okay, in the beta process, it was very advanced, right? It was a lot of, you had to do things manually, okay? And I needed to ensure, if I open that beta up to the entire world, I think some more novice users that maybe couldn't have handled the state of the CMS back then, they would have been frustrated because of the state of it. And that would have required a lot more hand-holding by me, okay, during that time, which takes away from me developing it, right? Because of the hand-holding. And by charging for access to the beta, I can ensure that the people that bought in are serious, right? They have skin in the game. They know they're invested in the future. They want the product to behave and to, maybe a lot of people, you bought in early, you got some of the things that you wanted added. Okay. So yeah, there were some benefits to that. Okay. So yeah, I think that was a valid, I'm glad I did that. And also, to be honest, it was also kind of a little small little like Kickstarter type boost, right? Where you pre-purchase, you get access now. You get access to me and to influence the development of the product, so that when it's released to the world, it has what you wanted. Okay. So there was a little bit of that as well. Helped fund the development of it, right? It still does. I have, while it's not completely hidden to the world, you can access the Total CMS 3 beta through purchase. And you purchase it at full price. There is no discount. The reason I'm doing that is I've worked very hard on Total CMS 3, and it is a very good product. I'm very confident in that. It is an extreme value at the prices that I have. There will be 3 editions. Currently, you cannot purchase the light edition. The standard edition is $159. The pro version is $359. And those are going to be the cheapest that product ever will be, because it's that good. Okay? I am not joking. It is that good. It is a good product. It will save you time. It will make your website better. It is that good. Okay? And so yeah, it is a premium product that I am not shy to ask for a good price. I think even a cheap price. Okay? I compared other products around the world that are similar in functionality. I think Total CMS meets or beats those prices and has more features. Okay? And so there we go. There's my little few minute spat on Total CMS 3 pricing. I have not released upgrade pricing yet. Soon. We're really close to release. Here, I'll give you a little bit more insider information. This week, I've been hemming and hawing on picking up. I started PageSafe version 2 years ago. Okay. And I never released it. Didn't feel quite right. And I thought, okay, if I gave it a couple, 2 or 3 weeks, let's be honest, probably 4 weeks, right? I could probably get it in a state where I like it and get it shipped out. But that means delaying Total CMS 3 by 2, 3, 4 weeks, right? And then you got a launch week, which is probably another week right on top of that. So, and I don't want to do that. So, I am not going to be working on PageSafe 2 right now. And instead, I'm going to be focusing on getting Total CMS 3 in a shippable state as soon as I can. My goal is September. Okay. So that's only a month and a week away. Like, let's say end of September. So yeah. Okay. My goal is the end of September. Okay. Funny enough, I shipped my original, I'm going to miss it. I originally shipped Total CMS 1 on September 4th. I forget the year now. 2016, I think it was. Okay. And yeah, I thought it'd be fun to ship on September 4th, 2025. But anyway, not going to happen. There's no way I'm making September 4th. But it was a kind of a little goal that I had for myself. But oh well, I missed that boat. Maybe if I didn't work on some other products earlier on in this year. But I kind of needed that too. So there we go. All right. So anyway, just kind of give you an idea. I currently have it slated for 3 more betas before we release. Okay. So that's kind of where we're at. I don't understand how to implement Total CMS 3 from scratch. Request for a beginner live series. Again, for Total CMS 3, check out the beginners series from 2 weeks ago, the beginners live stream. Okay. Someone had an interesting question on real estate blog for Loopnet integration. Okay. I've looked many times over the years on how to integrate with Loopnet. And while they have an API, a Loopnet itself, their licensing is pretty absurd. Pretty much if you integrate with their system, their licensing says that they own all the code that you use to integrate with their system. And that seems kind of wrong to me. So yeah, I've never dived into that. However, with that said, Total CMS 3 has a fully blown documented API. I'm a huge fan of active pieces. And while I haven't developed the active piece integration yet, there will be a full-blown active pieces integration for Total CMS 3, just like I did with Total CMS 1, although the version 3 version will be much better Okay, it'll be much more elaborate because Total CMS 3 is much bigger and elaborate. Okay, so you'll be able to do a lot more. And at that point, it'll be really easy if you use something like Active Pieces to integrate anything into Total CMS. So yeah, I don't know if Loopnet uses anything like that, but at that point you can then, potentially build your own integration relatively easily, hopefully. Okay. And that's all about Total CMS 3. Next up, we're going to talk about hosting and maintenance. I'll go over this really quick. I know that we all try to go for the cheap hosting company. And with hosting companies, I really truly feel you get what you pay for. If you pay for a $10 a year service, you're going to get a $10 a year service of website. Okay. So, I personally feel, especially if it's a website that's for your business, for a business, do not be on a shared server. Okay. Get a VPS. It will ensure that all the websites that you manage are on the same website, not managed by some other random people. And some other random people have access that are on their sites are on the same server as yours. Okay. Don't do that. Now, I understand if you're just like, you have some fun little club that you're a part of, and it's just this thing on the side and you really want something cheap. I can understand that. But even with that, I think VPSs are pretty inexpensive. You can get a VPS for probably $100 a year for a smaller one. Okay. So I don't think that's a lot, right? In my opinion. So I'd recommend going all full VPS for any website that you host. And again, you can have a VPS that hosts, I have one web server hosts all of my websites, all of them. Okay. And yeah, I think for that server, I pay $20 something a month. And who do I use? Maybe it's $40 a month. I forget now. I'll be honest with you. I don't fully remember. So don't quote me on the costs. I forget exactly what it is. But I host a lot of websites on my server. But it is my server and is only my server. Only my websites are on it. So I know everything on there is trusted and it's locked down. Okay. I personally use a company called DigitalOcean. Now, it's not for the faint of heart. It requires that you set up your server, you manage your server, you do all that stuff. I understand that is not for everybody. Okay. So where should you go? Okay. What companies should you look at? Okay. If you want my recommendations, okay. Greg Barchard, he's in the community. If you need a full concierge service, need help migration, need all that stuff, give Greg a call. Chili Dog Hosting. He does great support. Okay. Now, if you're slightly more technical, you want a little bit more control, I used to recommend DreamHost. And unfortunately, I can no longer recommend them. Okay. And it saddens me to say that. I think this might be the first time I've actually publicly mentioned that. They've just been adding so much stuff that like loopholes, like publishing stops working. I've sent them emails about this, and I don't know, it just doesn't seem to be getting any better. So it saddens me to say I can't recommend them anymore. But yeah, who should you use? If you want something slightly more technical, maybe a little bit more management or some more controls. I'm going to be releasing a hosting company. I don't know when it's going to be released. Okay. Obviously, my goal was to have it out this year. I might be able to start accepting some beta users this year. Okay. It'll be bettersitehost.com. I do have the domain, although there is no website there yet. But I will be having a hosting company. And so hopefully that will, if you don't need one right now, I'll make sure I let you know when it's all launched, and maybe you can move over. Okay. Yeah. If you have to pay for a hosting company anyway, might as well support a great community. Okay. So yeah, Better Site Host. I did one question specifically about someone hosting a hybrid of a RapidWeaver and WooCommerce website. That seems complicated. I'll admit. Like, I'm pretty smart, I guess. That seems very complicated, and I like simple things. And I would strongly urge you to look at a different e-commerce solution that would natively integrate with your Stax websites. Okay. I personally use Cartloom. I think it's really awesome. There are other solutions out there. VibraCart, I know, is a very popular solution that is all encompassing and works on your own server. It integrates well with Stax. Okay. So check out those two solutions. Cartloom, VibraCart. Also search on the community or ask on the community. I know there are other solutions out there that people use. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about AI. So what are we getting? Two things about AI. One, what are we doing about AI and SEO? Okay. For right now, I mean, I have to admit, nobody has a solid answer or a crystal ball that tells us how everything is going to work. Okay. So all I'd recommend is, I feel all of the current SEO standards that we have, making sure that you have good meta tags, making sure that you have good title, making sure you have good content, making sure you have, alt tags in your images, which I know is the bane of everybody's existence. I admit I don't even do it on a lot of occasions. Okay. But all the basics of SEO, you still need them. Okay. And, something that I really liked recently is someone repurposed the term SEO. Okay. We've used it as search engine optimization. We're optimizing for Google. Okay. And what if we flip that and said search everywhere optimization? And I like that. What if we I like that, right? Because there's more things out there that rather than just Google. What are we going to do about AI controlling bots combing our websites? That is a huge topic. Okay. That, I don't know how I feel about that. I understand both sides. Okay. Right now I'm on the side of, I do see that more and more AI is referencing the content that it tells me data for. Okay. And I like that. And while I don't think most people don't click on those links, I do. I don't click on every one of them, but I do click on some of the links like, hey, this data came from this website. And I do click on those links. Okay. And in terms of how do we get indexed by AI? I don't have an answer for that. Okay. But I do know that obviously if you have good content, you're more likely to be indexed if you want to be. Okay. Now, if you do not want AI to scrape or have access to the data on your website, there are tools that you can use. I think I have an FAQ on the community for htaccess rules, and in there you can block. I have some rules you can add to block AI bots. Okay. You can also use a system like Cloudflare. I'm a huge proponent of Cloudflare, and they have very strong opinions about AI bots not indexing your site. Okay. And they have a lot of tools. They're doing a lot of work around that right now. So if you want the latest and greatest of bot blocking, check out Cloudflare. If you don't use it, I think it's a great service. I also use it to register all of my domains. Okay. I save hundreds of dollars a year just through domain registrations through them. Okay. Hey, now, what about, now that's AI from the aspect of our end users finding us, okay? Another thing is, before I dive into another aspect of AI, is make sure that your website is a destination place. Okay. So if you build a website and it is a place that people want to go to, then that's what you want, right? You want to make sure that people go to your website. And how are you going to do that? I know I'm making very vague things, right? But Weaverspace, a lot of times you're like, hey, I need this. I'm going to go to Weaverspace to interact on the community or to look for some stacks or something, right? So it's a destination place, okay, that I feel you're going to potentially go to rather than using AI to query for things. So, yeah, depending on what your niche is or what your area is for your website, you know, the answer of how do you make your site a destination spot is going to be different, okay? But yeah, I think making it a great quality content and having stuff there that are going to want to make people go there to see it. Newsletters, emails, social media, all that stuff, right? Yeah, that all gets people to your website. And I think it's all important. And the important thing is, if you can make your website about you, that's going to be better. Okay. You all know I'm behind Weaverspace, right? If I didn't do these live streams or there was just some generic videos that you never saw a person, would you like Weaverspace as much? I don't know. I don't think so. Okay. I think it's because of the interaction that we have on the community and the live streams and the hangouts that we have on Fridays, right? Those build, you know, a community and bring people coming in, right? Continue to come in, because even though we're on the internet, I've been saying this for 16 years now, right? Is I want to build a small corner store feel where people can come in and say, hi, Joe, how's it going? Right? It doesn't matter if you're in Germany or in Australia or whatever. Pop in, say hi. You know it's me behind the store. Okay? I think that's very important. Bringing the person aspect, which is why I think video is very important, and YouTube. Okay? So anyway, there we go. That's off that sandbox. Wait, AI, there's a lot of talk about AI site generation. Okay? And where's that going to take us? I use AI quite a bit, okay? And it is very far from perfect, right? I know people are like, it's only a matter of time before it does it great, right? But I think there's always going to be a need for we were talking about human interaction, right? There's always going to be a need for professional level tools, okay? And if you go to some AI builder online, and you're just typing in prompts to get ideas back from an AI bot, good luck with that. Yeah, the results you're going to get are going to be way different, and I think not as good as what you can get from a tool that is made for that particular purpose, and also as a community built around it of actual people. Okay. I truly, honestly feel that makes a huge difference. Now, I have talked quite extensively with Isaiah on how, you know, AI content generation, or, you know, what they call it, AI gen, whatever the key term is, content generation. Okay. Gen AI. There you go. I think that's a horrible term. Okay. Gen AI. When I hear that, I think generation AI, but whatever. I guess we are in Gen AI, right? Everyone's starting to use it, okay? But anyway, I do think that while right now Stack 6 doesn't have any sort of AI built into it, we're working on getting a strong foundation, okay? But there are things that we can potentially do in the future that can allow AI to help us generate concepts of things, either text content and or potentially designs, okay? in the future. So that's something that we're definitely thinking about, and things that we can do. And it should be possible, okay, in the future. We're building the foundations to make that potentially possible in the future. And AI that we have now is very different than AI that we have 6 months from now, right? I haven't played around with much with the new GPT agent, but apparently that can actually like work on your machine and do a bunch of stuff locally in your local apps. Like, again, I haven't played around with that at all, but that's complete game changer. If someone had built something else into their apps, I think it's just a game where it's just the board's constantly shifting. So I think waiting until the dust settles a little bit to see where things are going to go and picking the right one, especially since we're a small team, is the right way to go. Okay. So that's all my opinions on AI. I'm sure I have a lot more, but that's kind of what I have now, from based on the questions that I got here. Oh, I also have some really cool AI features for Total CMS 3 in mind. Okay. But yeah, another time. Okay. I've been ignoring all the questions, I'm sorry, in the chat. Let me peruse through those really quick. And then I have a lightning round. Okay. I just have these one-off questions that I kind of want to answer really quick. Okay. Okay, let's see. Some questions about Total CMS 3. One incredibly important feature for me is your agent stack. I build multi-language websites. Oh, thanks, Tom. Yep. Agent just got a really great feature yesterday. Okay. Not to go down that path, but I'm going to send out an email this week about it. A really cool feature in the agent URL stack. Okay. So check that out. It has the ability to do conditional layouts based on your domain and session data, which is really cool if you use something like SiteLock. Okay. So there's that. Cool stuff there, Tom. Someone mentioned StaxGuru probably before I did. So yep, StaxGuru, great resource. All right, always brilliant insight. Thank you. Great, Chris Powers. 43 watching, only 2 likes. Dude, Joe Asado and hit the like button. Thank you very much, James. I appreciate that. James Alton Thomas. Man, I love your name, dude. Always. Every time I hear that, it's just a great name. Okay. Translation. They don't want you integrating. Yes. I think you're talking about Loopnet, I assume. Okay, I think I answered all the questions, or other people answered. Thanks for everyone chipping in and answering questions in the chat. I appreciate that. Let's go through the lightning round. Okay. And all right, first one here. Still hoping for a FileMaker stack to come. I've had that on my list for many years, and I admit it would be really nice. And I'll just be frank with you, whomever requested that. Okay. I get maybe, I don't know, once a year a request for something like that. And sometimes it's the same person, but obviously the market for that is, it's very niche. Right? I'm going to be honest and frank with you right now. Okay. It is a very niche product. And, I will say I want to build that someday. Okay. But because it is such a niche product, I think it needs to be a product that needs to be built when things are all sunshiny and cooking with Crisco, right? I mean, everything is, once things are going really, really well, I think that'll be the time where a stack like that will get made, where it's kind of a boondoggle stack where, I'll be honest, I'm probably going to lose money on it because the amount of time that I have to put in to build it, versus how much I'm going to sell. Right. So, and right now, I don't have time for a boondoggle stack. So, I will say I want to do it. I think, having it inside feeds would be amazing, like really cool for FileMaker users. Yeah, right now, I don't think there are a lot of FileMaker users. So unless all the FileMaker users bombard my email address and tell me how much tons of money you're going to be willing to spend on it for me to build it, Yeah, it'll have to wait a little bit. Okay. Being 100% transparent there. Okay. Request for a standalone card stack with flexible layouts and image options. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Send me a request. Let me know. I do have to say, if you're using Foundation 6, you can kind of build that on your own, right? I mean, or it already has a card stack. You can add images and layouts and stuff like that all inside of it. I think if you just learn something like Foundation 6, you can really build your own card. Okay. I'm not saying that I would never build a card stack. I think I do plan on launching another brand eventually called Firefly Stacks. That I own the domain. I think there's a holding page up, actually. I think there is. Is there? FireflyStacks.com. Oh, looks like, oh, Firefly. I forgot the S. Typo. Nope. Darn it. I didn't put the holding page up. I thought I built one, but maybe I didn't publish it. Okay. So, and I think that stack, that will be more of like very simple like stacks. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it never happen. I don't know. But I'm not against doing a cards stack. Let me know if it's something that you feel is different. And I'll reply to your email as well. Okay. EXIF information in Photo Pro. It already does EXIF information. So yeah, if you want more granular stuff, let me know. I'll read through your email again and respond to you directly. But Photo Pro does do EXIF data already. Okay. Total CMS 3 does EXIF data on steroids, though. I'll tell you that much. Okay. Let's see. Interested in seeing a breakdown of Joe's productivity tools and workflow. It's been a while since I've done that. Let me know. Let me know in the chat right now, actually. If you can, just go ahead and let me know if you'd like me to do a live stream on the tools that I use. I'm happy to do it. Okay. Let me know in the chat. We'll move on to the next question, and I'll keep an eye on the chat to see if there's much interest in that. Okay. Dreaming of a true WYSIWYG web builder that simplifies responsive design. Okay. There's obviously I've been building web builder tools for quite a long time. Okay. And I understand the desire to have a completely amazing WYSIWYG interface. Okay. And I do have to say, while I haven't played around with it or even looked at it much, to be honest with you, I've heard people say that Elements WYSIWYG is amazing. Okay. There's a lot of drawbacks to that too. Okay. I think if you, there's reasons why some things in stacks are the way they are in edit mode. Okay. Because it makes settings and defining the layouts and dynamically generating data easier, right? For example, building out a gallery, right? Or using something like feeds, super powerful. Total CMS, super powerful. But you can't have a WYSIWYG interface for a lot of that data, right? Because it's data that's dynamic and generated on the fly. So there are a lot of things that WYSIWYG just isn't possible. Now, I do think there are some features some unknown features, actually, that some people don't know about that can give you a more WYSIWYG-esque feel inside edit mode. Here, I'll just give you a quick look. Let's have a look at this project file right here. Okay. I'm going to go into site styles. I'm just going to turn on streamline edit mode. Okay. And, okay. So in streamline edit mode, we'll see that, it still has these little containers, but like I can still see what this web page looks like, right? I mean, it's pretty apparent. I think what it what's going to happen, right? Here, let's toggle preview, right? So here's the preview of the site, right? I mean, that's pretty darn close. Okay. Yeah, it's not, again, it's not perfect WYSIWYG, right? And I think maybe we can make some things a little bit better. Okay. But yeah, I think a lot of it is these little labels. Okay. And if you guys are curious, I did turn on this streamlined edit mode inside site styles. Okay. And what it does is it gets rid of a lot of the kind of the background and some of the borders of each individual stack, but it leaves the label. Okay. So that things are clickable. And what's kind of cool is if you click on a container, it actually highlights all the content inside of it, right? So it's kind of like, I think kind of the best of both worlds sort of thing, right? Because sometimes it's good to see where things begin and end. Okay. So to have that option, I think is a nice ability. Now, Stacks itself used to have a little viewer toggle up at the top, which was like, it was actually tall, grande, and venti. There were 3 like views that kind of expanded and contrasted. Maybe we could bring something like that back. I don't think Isaiah would be against that. I think it's actually still there, just the toggle's removed. I think the features are still there, built into the stack, the UI. But yeah, that could be interesting. Just bringing that mode back. I don't know if you guys remember, it was a 3 toggle thing up here in the edit mode. Yeah, and actually my streamlined edit mode kind of took some of that and deconstructed it and reused some of it. So anyway, yeah, check out streamlined edit mode if you're using Foundation. Okay. And yeah, I just don't think that some or all interfaces can be WYSIWYG. Unless we I think we have a decent balance of stuff that's configured out here and stuff that's configured in the sidebar, right? And I think having some more screen real estate in this area to edit some things rather than jumbling up this settings pane is a good thing. Okay. So anyway, that's my opinion on WYSIWYG. I'm sure we can make improvements, and I appreciate the feedback. So anyway, thank you. All right. Okay. Old school Rapid user still using Will Woodgate's theme. Curious about upgrading. Oh, that somehow got into the lightning round questions. I think we answered all that. Yep. Themes, Stack 6. So you can still use, themes will be coming out in Stack 6. And in terms of Will Woodgate himself, ping him and let him know what themes you might want for Stack 6. I'm sure, now that the API is more mature, maybe he can start, perusing some of that, so that things are ready when we launch. Okay. So ping Will if you really like one of his themes and you want it ported to Stack 6. The more users that ping him, maybe the sooner he'll come back and start working on stuff again. So there we go. A question on how to turn off this Foundation 6 theme version checker. Okay. So there is no way to turn that off inside RapidWeaver, because in RapidWeaver, we have a theme and the stacks, and they have to be the same version. Okay. And if you get that warning, it's because one is not upgraded. One is not the correct version. So you need to make sure that the theme and the stacks are both in sync. Now, luckily, we've eliminated this problem in Stack 6 because the theme is a part of the stacks, which is amazing now. So we'll in Stack 6, that problem is gone forever, and I love it. And I'm sure now that you've complained about it, you will love it too. So there we go. All right, I have one last question. I saved this one for last. It's a big topic, okay? And one that I am mildly experienced to answer, okay? So, and I got versions of this question, several of them, and that is struggling with how to monetize websites, basically struggling to get more money building websites. Okay. So I know I saw a couple users saying that, they're charging 3,000 euros, I think it was, for between 2 to 3,000 euros for a website. And so as you probably know, this year it was the first time I actually took on a project. Normally I build the software and I let you guys build the websites for clients, right? But I took on a project, mostly to to step in your shoes a little bit, right? But also to fully test out Total CMS 3, okay, from your perspective. And it's been a great eye-opening experience, one that's taken me a lot more time than I expected, 100%. I charged way more than 3,000 euros. And I still felt I should have doubled my what I asked. Okay. Probably should have been more closer to like the 15,000 realm. Okay. So how do you do that? Like if your clients are currently only spending 3,000, how are you going to get 15,000? That's a great question. Okay. And I think, one thing that's painfully obvious as well is that the $3,000 clients, okay, or even cheaper, okay, are going to be the ones that you least want to work with, because they're going to expect the most from you, and they want to pay the least. Because, I mean, to be honest, they're probably struggling too, right? And they own a business and they want to reduce their expenses, and they are seeing that as an expense, not as an investment. Okay. So the first thing you need to do is flip it on their head and show them how much a website will save them or make them. Okay. So for example, in Total CMS 3, I'm completely revamping how this particular client is managing the back end of their website. And it's going to save them tons of hours managing. And that will equate to savings. That means they're going to be saving money because they could spend less time managing their websites, managing data. A lot of stuff is just going to be automated and working better. Consolidating multiple systems that they no longer need to manage because it's all managed now by one system, Total CMS. So seeing it, that sort of solution as a benefit. Okay. Also I think the admin dashboard for Total CMS 3 is pretty nice. You can also build a completely custom admin dashboard for them, which makes their lives editing a website a breeze, right? It could be just what they want, nothing more, nothing less, right? And it can be branded for them, make it look custom for them, right? And so you have a premium product. Also, how much money is their website bringing in, right? You need to think about conversion rates and all that stuff, right? I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff I'm missing right now, bringing in. Conversion rates and all that stuff, right? I'm missing right now. Every year I do a freelancer panel at my summit. Okay. If this is a struggle that you have, please go watch those videos. If you don't have access, there is a paywall. Okay. Summits are amazing. Okay. You can still buy access to the videos. Go to academy.weavers.space. You can purchase access if you don't already have access to all the videos. Okay. There's that freelancer panel is amazing. And one topic that comes up every year is that you can also change the way you price. Okay. And instead of charging on a per project basis, you charge a monthly fee. So, that monthly fee can be, whatever you determine, right? But at that point, it's instead of $3,000 up front, it can be $250 a month or $300 a month, right? But then at that point, it's ongoing, because that client's going to need ongoing support. They're going to need your help for doing all kinds of things. Okay. So that, while it might be a little work for the first few customers, right? Because you might need to do a mixture of both styles of business for a while, but eventually that recurring income is going to come through, and you're going to be managing 10, 15 clients at anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a month or whatever, and you're making good money. Okay. So I think the recurring subscription revenue makes sense for businesses, because it's going to be an ongoing cost that they're going to need anyway. They need website updates. They're going to need content updates. They're going to need ads or whatever else, right? And they can go to you for that. And on top of that, you can offer them their hosting. Okay. So as a part of that monthly fee, they don't need to worry about a website hosting company, because most businesses don't want to worry about that. So you can worry about it for them. And obviously, you would then get a VPS, manage all your clients on your web hosting service, right? So that's something that you can also do to either have as an additional cost or as a part of that monthly fee. Okay. That then you take on the management of that, so your client doesn't have to. There was one more topic that I wanted to talk about for that. That was, let's see, we were talking about hosting yourself. Shoot. Oh, Total CMS. Okay. So, it's hard for me to take off my I'm the Total CMS developer hat. Okay. But if you have a project, I think Total CMS should be a part of all of it. Okay. Just factor it into the cost of the project. Because even if your client doesn't use it, it'll be beneficial for you. Okay. And even if another thing a few users also do is they charge monthly access fees to access Total CMS, right? So at that point, it could potentially be a money maker for you as well, right? So, yeah, if you wanted, there are users, swear to God, that they charge their client a monthly fee to access their custom built online CMS. Okay. So there you go. Something to think about. Okay. So you pay for it once, voila, you now get recurring revenue for it. So there we go. Have a look at that. Think about that. That was it for all the lightning round questions. Let me look at the chat. Yes, stream on tools. Okay, cool. Looks like maybe we could do that next week. Maybe next week could be my tools stream week or something like that. Recently reviewed 6 proposals for a new professional association group website. They were all $60K. There you go. Message work on sheets. There you go, dude. Right? And so another thing is, if you have one customer at, let's say, 15,000, hey, work on sheets says 60,000. Okay. If you had one client at 15,000, working with that one client is going to be a lot nicer than working with 5 other clients. Right? So saying no to those $3,000 websites, today it might feel like, oh no, what am I going to do? Right? But all you have to do is find that one, and then that'll make up for 5. Okay. Or hell, 60, that can make up for 20 of them. Right? That's crazy. Okay. So please, yeah, find the companies that want to pay. Okay. I personally, now something you could also do is, if someone is a low budget and you wanted to accept that type of business, what you do is you have 3 cookie cutter websites where you're like, I have website A, B, and C. I can give that to you for $3,000. All you get is to change the headings and the images. That's it. Right. So at that point, it's something you can chuck out in a few days, hopefully. And then, yeah, so you can come up with pre-baked solutions like that. Okay. So that is an option if you wanted a lower price tier Okay. For those people. And even that, maybe even better, instead of $3,000, you can do that monthly thing, right? So you do $100 a month. Okay. Where you host it and you built it for them, and boom, $100 a month, they have a website. Just an idea, throwing it out there. Okay. Maybe 150 a month. I don't know. Okay. Cool. Let's see. What would be great to have example contracts for community members and a discussion, things around that. So as a part of the freelancer panel, if you have access to that, there is a sample contract that one of the freelancers, Eric, he was nice enough to supply his sample contract that he uses. So that is available for those that have access to the summit. Okay, so but great idea, Dr. Bob. All right, so Dr. Bob, there is a freelancing group in the community already, and it is actually one of the spaces that not everybody is a part of by default. So if you join the freelancers group, go ahead and post there. You can talk about contracts and all that stuff. If we feel that we need something on top of that freelancer group, let me know. I'm happy to create something different. Okay, but yeah, there is a freelancer group on the community. And I think different. Okay. But yeah, there is a freelancer group on the community. And I don't believe everyone is a member by default. So if you're not a member of that, you have to go into there and click the join. Maybe everyone is a member. I'm not sure. How many members are there total? Maybe it is a part of the default group. But anyway, that freelancing group, I would recommend posting in there. That would be, where you guys can talk about all that kind of stuff. Okay. Cool, guys. Thank you very much. I hope today was okay. I know it was just mostly looking at me and not much demoing of stuff. But there was a lot of stuff to talk about. And I really appreciate you coming on. And again, I will reply to each and every one of those emails. And if you have something you want to share and you haven't replied, feel free to go ahead and reply, and I will get back to you, I promise. Okay. So thank you very much, everyone. Hope to see some of you on Friday at our Friday Hangouts, and have a wonderful rest of your week. Go out there and make your websites great.